From dominating reality TV shows for over 10 years to the dark secrets hidden behind the pawn shop counter getting exposed, this is the untold story of Pawn Stars and Rick Harrison's confession. The family-run business, built on the knowledge of the history of gold and silver, has recently been drowning in a series of controversial allegations. Scandals, lawsuits, and family betrayals threaten to end, if not permanently taint, their legacy. With all that has been happening, Rick Harrison's empire has been pushed to the edge and might end up falling. What was once a humble pawn shop had led its owners to fame, greed, and legal chaos. But where does their story begin? A pawn shop empire built on the knowledge of gold and silver. At the center of it all was Richard "Old Man" Harrison, the 77-year-old patriarch who co-founded the pawn shop in Las Vegas. His experience in the business, combined with his no-nonsense attitude, made him a fan favorite and, obviously, the one to call the shots. However, his death in 2018 marked a turning point for the family, both personally and professionally. Rick Harrison, the brains behind the shop's TV success, knew from the beginning that pawning was about more than just making quick sales. It's got to have a story. Everyone loves a story. I mean, if you take any really expensive antique, something that sells at Christie's for $1 million, you're buying the story, right? With a basic knowledge of gold and silver, he built the gold and silver pawn shop from the ground up. Even though in the early days making a profit was tough, often Rick found himself lending more money than he was earning. Regardless, he pushed through, expanding his expertise and becoming a trusted name in the pawn industry. However, the real game changer came in 2009 when Pawn Stars debuted on the History Channel. The show followed Rick, his father, his son Corey, Big Hoss Harrison, and Corey's friend Austin Chumlee Russell as they interacted with unusual and sometimes priceless items brought into the shop. Customers brought all sorts of stuff, including rare comic books and artifacts believed to be from ancient Egypt. For this reason, no day was ever the same at the pawn shop. This was good, as it kept the experience unpredictable and interesting. Besides that, the fans loved the banter between Rick and his father, as well as Chumlee's goofy, kind of naive personality. But as the show became more famous, nasty business was going on behind the scenes. Rick Harrison's nasty legal battle with his mother, according to USA Today. Rick's mother, Joanne Harrison, is suing her son in a dispute over family assets and the ownership of the gold and silver pawn shop. I had no idea because, like I said, I had epilepsy. And back then, there was no research on it or anything like that, you know. So you thought you had limitations? Oh no, I thought I had a really limited lifespan, right? But that's just the tip of the iceberg. Joanne's attorneys filed. The civil lawsuit in Nevada State Court names Rick Harrison, the gold and silver pawn shop, business entities, Harrison Properties, Jorick Properties, and others as defendants. The complaint cites a breach of contract, stating that Joanne was married to Rick's father for 58 years. However, when she was hospitalized in the early 2000s, just after she had awoken from a coma, Rick had her sign her 51% interest in the pawn shop over to him. After realizing what she had done, or was made to do, she fought back and sought justice by claiming that she didn't fully understand what she was signing in her condition. Then, in 2018, when Richard died, Joanne was to inherit his 49% share of the pawn shop. However, Rick hadn't provided her with complete documentation of the business's finances. For this reason, Joanne alleged that she hadn't been able to get proper accounting for more than $500,000 worth of cash and silver. According to her, the late Richard had accumulated those assets before his death. Following this legal battle, Rick's net worth was threatened. This is because the lawsuit seeks unspecified damages, an accounting of assets, a court order banning Rick from using funds belonging to Joanne, and a constructive trust over property that belongs to her. Talking to the Las Vegas Review-Journal, Rick claimed that the allegations were false and suggested that his 81-year-old mother was being manipulated by others for their personal gain. Yet, that was not the only bomb that dropped on the family business. According to the Daily Mail, in 2020, the gold and silver pawn shop, which usually accumulates over $1 million annually, only made $37,146 because of the COVID-19 pandemic. This hit them hard, but the legal drama did not stop there. Rick's mother went ahead and filed a restraining order. According to the Daily Mail, Joanne's temporary restraining order against Pawn Stars Rick was to prevent him from selling off the family's assets. In her defense, Joanne claimed that Rick had stopped sending her money from Richard's share of the business. At first, Rick had been giving her regular $225,000 payments, but stopped in 2020. Depression? One of the biggest signs of depression is being angry all the time. That's definitely you. Loss of hair, dude. You might have had menopause for like 10 years. You might be the longest known case of menopause. For this reason, Joanne filed for a restraining order in an attempt to have that allowance reinstated through the courts. On top of that, the restraining order would also stop Rick from transferring or concealing cash assets or performing any other actions that would diminish Joanne's interest in the family business. Additionally, the publication also reported that Joanne was, by then, 81 years old and suffered from many health issues that required 24-hour care and supervision, which could cost up to $115,000 a month. What shocked Rick was that he found out about the restraining order request through news reports and not directly from Joanne. Following this incident, Rick claimed to have tried to reach her numerous times for several months, but could not get through, making it harder for him to negotiate better terms so that everyone could go home happy, even though they wouldn't go back to the same home. But this was not the only legal battle a member of this family, or at least a friend, was facing. Chumlee's legal troubles. Austin Chumlee Russell is definitely one of the shadiest members of the Pawn Stars cast. As TMZ reported in 2012, he was caught on camera brawling with a man in Hollywood before fleeing the scene. The victim was left bruised and bleeding on the side of the road, but Chumlee insisted he acted in self-defense after the man threatened to pull a gun on him and his pals. According to Chumlee, instinct just took over, and the man seemed to not even know that Chumlee was on TV. Speaking to TMZ, Chumlee said that the stranger just wanted to ride in their car and start problems. While he dodged a bullet with this one, there was no excusing the scandal Chumlee was about to find himself in 4 years later. According to the Chicago Tribune in 2016, Chumlee landed in jail after being arrested on suspicion of 20 felonies. Well, he actually learned something. Let me say, you get more out of a book, Rick. You like to binge argue? I don't like to binge argue. You guys turn it into arguments. No, you like to binge argue for sure, and I bet one of your 3 wives could agree. The arrest occurred after cops raided his house as part of their investigation into sexual assault accusations that had been made against him. During the police raid, officers allegedly found methamphetamine, marijuana, and at least 1 gun at Chumlee's home in southwest Las Vegas. While Chumlee wasn't booked on sex crime allegations, Officer Larry Hadfield, a department spokesman, said, "That part of the investigation was due to a recent complaint by a woman, and that the officers were doing everything in their power to get to the truth." However, according to TMZ reports, Chumlee was the suspect in the sexual assault case. The AP report cites Clark County Detention Center's records, saying that Russell faced 19 drug possession charges and 1 weapon charge. After some time, the sexual assault charges were ultimately cleared, but the damage had already been done, and he was not getting off the hook that easily. Chumlee faced a new legal nightmare thanks to what was uncovered during the raid. According to TMZ, the cops had seized a huge laundry list of narcotics, including weed, meth, and Xanax. On top of that, they also discovered traces of cocaine and 12 guns, 8 of which were unregistered. Seeing that he was compromised, Chumlee ultimately agreed to a plea deal to escape a prison sentence. He pled guilty to a felony weapons charge, unlawful possession of a firearm, and to a gross misdemeanor of attempted drug possession. He was in hot water, but he was not the only one. Corey Harrison's wild night and personal troubles. Rick's son, Corey Big Hoss Harrison, also had his share of misadventures. Loss of hair, dude. You might have had menopause for like 10 years. You might be the longest known case of menopause. Known. For his ambition to take over the shop one day, Corey faced a rough patch when reports surfaced of his wild behavior. During a stop on a motorcycle tour in Jefferson City, Corey was involved in an embarrassing incident at a bar called Spectators. After what witnesses described as a week of heavy drinking, Corey shocked patrons by urinating in public and throwing a bar stool, resulting in him being kicked out of the bar. This incident drew negative attention, though Corey later expressed regret for his actions, issuing a public apology. While he tried his best to clear his reputation using his charm, more trouble kept following him. Corey made headlines again in 2021 for all the wrong reasons. According to TMZ, Big Hoss rented an RV for a short vacation in the California desert in 2020. However, according to the vehicle's owner, William V., Harrison apparently failed to return the RV on the agreed date and in one piece. Villana claimed that Harrison's assistant called a day later to say they were involved in an accident and were going to have the RV towed back. But it took another 2 days before the totally wrecked vehicle finally arrived. In addition to the bodywork damage expected from a crash, V alleged the RV's awning had been ripped off and that its interior was littered with empty bottles and eggs, among other things. It sounded like one hell of a crash. According to TMZ, VFA estimated that the damage would cost up to $30,000 to repair. Additionally, VFA alleged that he had to cancel 10 reservations because of the vehicle's condition. He also claimed that Harrison refused to pay for the damages, forcing him to file a police report. Seeing the media attention this was drawing, Corey's representative tried to brush it off by saying that Corey had rented the RV, the pop-outs wouldn't go back in, and it was not drivable. That was the only statement he made to TMZ. He insisted that Corey had the RV towed back to Las Vegas and had insurance handle it. With his resources, Corey managed to legally escape the consequences of the accusations, but his public image was stained, and his legal problems were the least of his worries in his personal life. Corey had to battle his weight, which had reached dangerous levels, leading him to undergo gastric bypass surgery in 2010. The surgery helped him lose over 100 lbs, but the personal strain continued as Corey dealt with the pressures of fame, managing the pawn shop, and maintaining a healthy lifestyle. His friendship with Chumlee remained intact, and Chumlee, inspired by Corey, also began a weight loss journey. At least he had his good times, but trouble was far from over. The scandal that shook the show's credibility. While Rick, Chumlee, and Corey were the stars of Pawn Stars, the show also relied heavily on experts to give credibility to the rare items that came through the doors. These specialists became fan favorites in their own right, offering detailed knowledge and history about everything that came to them, from old coins to rare autographs. However, some of these experts brought controversy with them, leading fans to question their reliability. One such expert, Johnny Jimenez Jr., known for his expertise in vintage toys, found himself in legal hot water in 2015 after a domestic violence incident. According to TMZ, Johnny was caught on camera allegedly assaulting his girlfriend outside a Las Vegas restaurant, an event that tarnished his image. Seeing this, Johnny defended his honor by claiming that he was trying to help his intoxicated girlfriend move after a night of partying and drinking, but the damage to his reputation was already done. Another expert whose allegations led to criticism of the show was John Resnikoff. Resnikoff specialized in autograph authentication, but he made a high-profile mistake in 2011 when he misidentified an autograph on a script from The Godfather. Resnikoff claimed the signature belonged to actor Al Pacino, but it was later revealed to be that of producer Al Ruddy. Though the error was relatively small, it made viewers question whether the experts were as knowledgeable as they appeared to be, and if they had made similar mistakes in the past that had gone unnoticed. But this was nothing compared to a 2015 scandal. The biggest scandal involving a Pawn Stars expert came in 2015 when Drew Max, a sports memorabilia expert, was accused of fraud in New Jersey. He had authenticated fake sports items, which were later sold at auction. Buyers who had been deceived filed a lawsuit, accusing Max of using his TV fame to bolster his reputation in the memorabilia world and ultimately scam them. This scandal severely damaged the credibility of the show, as fans began to wonder how many other items appraised on Pawn Stars had been misrepresented. While some thought that the world should cut them some slack. Since everyone makes mistakes, not many people came to Max's defense, as his mistake had cost some people a lot of money. The consequences of these troubles, as these scandals increased, Pawn Stars began to shift its focus away from its original concept. Initially, the show was a blend of history and entertainment, with Rick and his team educating viewers on the historical significance of the items brought into the shop. The show's charm lay in its unpredictability. One day, a customer might walk in with a rare piece of military history, while the next might bring in a quirky modern collectible. But as time went on, the show began to feel more scripted. Reports surfaced that sellers on the show were pre-selected and that items were appraised ahead of time, taking away the spontaneous nature that initially drew viewers in. Arguments between the cast, once genuine and often amusing, began to feel manufactured, with the focus shifting toward family drama, rather than the unique items brought into the shop, and the fans noticed everything. This shift towards staged drama made the show feel less authentic. Fans who had originally tuned in to learn about history found themselves watching a reality TV show that felt more like Keeping Up with the Kardashians than a series about pawning. Even the characters themselves began to feel like caricatures. Rick, the stern dealmaker, Corey, the ambitious but often distracted son, and Chumlee, the comic relief whose legal troubles made his on-screen persona seem increasingly out of touch with reality. As if the family drama, Chumlee's legal issues, and the scandals surrounding the experts weren't enough, Pawn Stars also faced challenges in expanding its business ventures. Rick attempted to capitalize on the show's success by launching Pawn Plaza, a retail center near the pawn shop that housed restaurants and shops. However, this venture turned out to be a failure, with several businesses closing due to a lack of traffic. The owners of these businesses later complained that Rick hadn't provided enough marketing support. They had banked on the fame of Pawn Stars to bring in customers, but the crowds never materialized. Many shop owners blamed Rick for not doing enough to promote the area, leading to several failed businesses and a string of lawsuits. But how could they really turn their viewers into business customers? While these battles were happening in the present, one of the cast's past was about to reveal the naked truth about them. Olivia Black's axing over nude modeling. Another scandal that rocked Pawn Stars involved Olivia Black, a former employee who joined the shop in 2012. Olivia quickly became a fan favorite due to her alternative style and edgy personality. However, after just a short time on the show, Olivia was fired without explanation. Fans were furious and tried to find out what had led to her disappearance. Later, it was revealed that her termination was tied to nude photos she had taken before joining Pawn Stars, and that the photos had surfaced online. This decision sparked controversy, with many fans criticizing the show's producers for what they saw as an unfair and sexist response. Despite being let go from the show, Olivia Black maintained a strong fan following. She continued to work in the pawn industry off-screen, pursuing a career as a model and adult entertainer. Olivia took legal action, claiming her termination was unlawful, but the case was eventually dropped, and she moved on to focus on her modeling career. As media attention shifted from Olivia's case, another scandal hit: the stolen coin collection melting mystery. By this time, the Pawn Stars cast members were no strangers to brushes with the law. In 2014, they found themselves at the center of a legal battle yet again, this time for allegedly melting down a stolen antique coin collection. According to ABC News, in a criminal complaint filed at Clark County Justice Court, David Walters claimed his niece, Jennifer Beckman, stole his costly coin stash in 2013 and then sold it to the gold and silver pawn shop. Walters stated that the haul Beckman brought to gold and silver netted a total of $2,375, but the aggrieved uncle claimed his collection's actual value was closer to $50,000. As soon as Walters realized the coins were missing, he immediately reported his niece to the authorities. However, by the time the cops contacted Gold and Silver Pawn, the coins were already gone. To the best of my knowledge, as the coins are unidentifiable, they may have been melted down, a spokesperson for the store told Fox News. They may have been sold. They may be in buckets like other coins waiting to be evaluated. The representative went on to dispute Walter's $50,000 valuation claim. These coins were worth far less than the gentleman thought they were worth, she said, before insisting that none of the Pawn Stars cast had done anything wrong or illegal in buying the coins. The end of Pawn Stars. Despite these scandals and controversies, the show managed to remain on air for over a decade. On top of that, Pawn Stars maintained a strong following even as it shifted towards scripted content and family drama. However, by the time the 21st season rolled around, the magic of the early years had faded, and viewership had declined significantly, with mounting legal troubles, internal family conflicts, and scandals surrounding its stars, Pawn Stars began to lose its authenticity. Rick, being a savvy businessman, focused his efforts elsewhere, including real estate and other ventures. Pawn Plaza may not have been a resounding success, but Rick's business acumen ensured that the gold and silver pawn shop remained a staple in Las Vegas. The future of Pawn Stars. While no official announcement has been made regarding its cancellation, the series has become a shadow of its former self. Its stars have faced both personal and professional challenges, and the once dominant presence of the show on the History Channel has diminished. Whether or not the show will return remains to be seen, but one thing is clear: Pawn Stars has left an unerasable mark on the world of reality television, a legacy tainted by scandal. Yet still, iconic Pawn Stars had a unique impact on reality TV, transforming what was once a niche pawn shop into a globally recognized name. From its humble beginnings as a family-run business to the multi-million-dollar franchise it became, Pawn Stars helped educate viewers about history, antiques, and the art of dealing. The show's success highlighted the charm of everyday Americans in a setting filled with unusual items, where every transaction told a story. However, as much as Pawn Stars built a legacy, its downfall serves as a cautionary tale about the dark sides of fame and the cost of maintaining a public persona. The scandals surrounding its stars, the legal disputes, and the controversies regarding appraisals all contributed to the slow tainting of the show's once untouchable image. Though it may never return to its former glory, Pawn Stars will be remembered as one of the most popular and influential reality TV shows in history. In the end, Pawn Stars showcased the real-life challenges of running a family business set against the backdrop of Las Vegas's ever-changing landscape. It offered both a glimpse into the world of pawning and a mirror to the personal struggles of its stars, making it a complex, multifaceted part of television history.